Hey there, let's go over how we can identify aspects in the birth chart where the aspect has an orb of less than 1 degree. If you're following along in the series of videos in the course on Introduction to VA, we are now in the 10th lesson, and the next lesson, the next 4 lessons are going to be on the meanings of the planetary pairs. We're going to go right in order. What does Sun and Moon in an aspect mean? What does Sun and Mercury? What does Sun and Venus, etc.? What does every planetary pair mean? What do they do in our astrology chart? And what I recommend is that as I go through each pair, look at your own chart. So let's do that. Or look at the charts of friends and family or famous people. I have here in the series software, I've entered birth data for about a dozen people who are actors and singers. They have AA data, means it's recorded from a birth certificate or other birth record, and they are all actors and singers, and they were born after 1970. There's a way in the series software to pull these charts up to find actors and singers born after 1970 with AA data. I will show you that in a future video. But here they are. So as an exercise, do we see Ben Affleck, the actor, does he have any aspects with an orb of 1 degree or less? What you can do is see if any two planets are together very tightly. No. And using this kind of chart wheel, look at the very thick lines. This aspect is a semi-square, which is 45 degrees. When a semi-square is exact, you can add 15 to the degrees of the planet with the lower number of degrees. If I add 15 to 7, I get 22. So the exact semi-square is 22 degrees, 28 minutes. The sun is 22 degrees, 39 minutes. Extremely tight, way under a 1 degree orb. And in VA, of course, we do interpret semi-squares. It's a hard aspect. So that means there's some kind of dynamic flow of energy, some kind of motivation that Ben Affleck has about Sun Venus. We want to look at aspects with only a 1 degree orb or less, so they're conspicuous. You may have some, you may not have some. And here's a Mars-Pluto semi-sextile. We see this very thick green line. You know, for a semi-sextile, and also the quincunx, I would say half a degree. So 1 degree orb for the others, but for the semi-sextile and the quincunx, about a half a degree. So here we have 0.14, 0.27. In other words, Mars is 0 degrees, 14 minutes. Pluto 0 degrees, 27 minutes. That's 13 minutes different. That's under half a degree. So Mars, Pluto would be involved in some kind of way as well. I'll talk about the meanings of semi-sextiles and quincunxes in a future lesson. Right now, what you know is that trines have a soft feeling. Sextiles have a soft feeling that is shared with others. Tends to be a kind of communication or relationship. The squares are challenges and motivating oppositions, or relating to other people and being objective about things, also challenging. And the meaning of a conjunction is dependent on the context of it. So it does not have a clear meaning, and we will learn more about conjunctions later. Let's do another example. Actress Drew Barrymore. Does she have an aspect with an orb under 1 degree? This is what you're going to want to do starting with the very next lesson. Pull up charts and see if somebody has a strong aspect. Here's the sesquiquadrat, 3/8 aspect. Use the rule of adding 15 to the one with the lower number of degrees. We add 15 to 3, we get 1834. Moon is 1807, it's under half a degree. She has a very strong sun-moon. She also has Sun-Uranus trine, slightly over 1 degree. Uranus is 2 degrees, 21 minutes. Sun is 3 degrees, 34 minutes. A little bit over 1 degree orb. You know what I could have done is use a wheel style with bigger glyphs. Let me do that now. Let's see. That's better, easier to read. Let me save that. Let me remove this. And I'll use the multi-select. I'm doing something very quickly. What I just did is select a different wheel style and select that wheel style for everyone else using this. So I changed the wheel style. I removed the other wheel style by right-clicking on it, and then I use this multi-select to select it for other wheels. We'll get better with the software in future lessons, but that just gives you an idea of how quickly you can update things. Let's look at Nick Cannon. He was a host for different shows, very well known. Does he have anything? Notice the sun and moon are conjunct, less than half a degree orb. 16 Libra 01, 16 Libra 27. Here's a semi-square between Mercury and Jupiter. If I add 15 to this 10, I get 2558. So Mercury and Jupiter, 2558 and 2617. So from the previous video on looking at orbs, you know that 25 degrees 58 minutes is just 2 minutes before the 26th degree. And so this is under a half a degree orb. So what we're saying is that Nick Cannon has Mercury-Jupiter in a challenging, motivating aspect. Means he's motivated by Mercury-Jupiter. And when we learn what Mercury-Jupiter means, then you can think about Nick Cannon, you could read his biography, and you can think about whether it makes any sense or not. Same thing with the sun-moon. Let's do a few more examples. Leonardo DiCaprio, the actor, looks like a big fat square here. 8 degrees 35, 8 degrees 6, under a 1 degree orb. It's about a half degree orb. Very strong Jupiter-Neptune. So we'll learn what Jupiter-Neptune means, and we can think about whether Leonardo DiCaprio exhibits the qualities of Jupiter-Neptune. Look at this fat trine here, this big thick line from Saturn at 18 degrees 48 minutes to Sun at 18 degrees 40 minutes. Very strong Sun-Saturn trine. 18 degrees 48 minutes, 18 degrees 40 minutes. Venus is weaker. It's 1954. It's a little over a degree. So very strong Sun-Saturn. In a smooth means that Leonardo DiCaprio should have the qualities of Sun-Saturn, which we're going to be discussing in the next video, in a smooth flowing way because it's a trine aspect. Here's America Ferrera, the actress. Does she have anything? We see a thick line between Venus and Jupiter. They are square almost exactly, 11-minute orb. Jupiter at 12 Capricorn 45, Venus at 12 Aries 56. And as we will see when we describe Venus-Jupiter, this is going to make a lot of sense. Now, sometimes the planetary pair will make perfect sense. Sometimes it won't be as obvious. We will learn in future classes why it's not always conspicuously obvious. Remember, we're just at the beginning of learning vibrational astrology, but usually it will make sense. We're going to need to learn some more about the context and about how we look at planetary combinations of 3 or more planets. There's more to learn, but it will work usually. And also, what do we mean by work? We mean it's a force trying to come through the person, and people can block or project. We're going to learn all this stuff as we get further into it. What I'm trying to do right now is prepare you for the next 4 videos so that when I show you a planetary pair, can you look at a chart and see if there are some planets in very tight aspect. Here's the singer Josh Groban. Can you do it? Look at the thick lines using this wheel style. We see a very thick Sun-Jupiter. It's a sesquiquadrat, means we add 15 to the 9. We get 2419, and Pluto's 24 degrees 3 minutes under a half a degree orb. He has a Sun-Pluto. So when we learn about Sun-Pluto, we'll think about whether that makes sense for Josh Groban. What about this square? Oh, this square is an important one. And we learned about this in the previous video as well. Venus is at 29 degrees 42 minutes. Uranus is at 0 Sag 06. This is called an out of sign aspect. Venus is at the end of one sign. Uranus is at the beginning of another. If I add 1 degree to Venus, I get 0 degrees 42 minutes. This is only 0.06. He has a very strong Venus-Uranus square. He has a very strong Moon-Mercury sextile. Moon at 19 degrees 58 minutes. Mercury at 20 degrees 9 minutes. Okay, so how about we do just one more example? Actress Kate Hudson. We see these thick lines. Moon 29 degrees 18 minutes. Sun 29 degrees 7 minutes. She has a very strong Sun-Moon square. And Jupiter at 29 degrees 57. They're all at 29 degrees. Jupiter has a little bit weaker aspect because Moon is 29 degrees 18 minutes. Sun is 29 degrees 7 minutes. Very close. And Jupiter's a little bit later at 29 degrees 57 minutes. It's still under a 1 degree orb. So we'll learn what Sun-Moon means. We'll learn what Sun-Jupiter means. We'll learn what Moon-Jupiter means. And we can think about whether it makes sense for Kate Hudson. I recommend doing this for yourself, for friends, family, because you know them better. But for teaching purposes, I'm just putting up some famous people, and they can be interesting as well. And the orbs are very important. The Sun-Moon, which has only an 11-minute orb, is much stronger than the aspect of Jupiter. And this is a way in which vibrational astrology is different from most other systems of astrology. We put more emphasis on exactly what the orb is, and we use very, very small orbs in the natal chart. We're going to learn about harmonic charts, or what we call vibrational charts later, and the orbs work differently there. But in the natal chart, we use very small orbs. And so Sun square Moon, only 11 minutes, whereas Moon opposition Jupiter is going to be 41 minutes. Because if I add 41 to 18, I get 39 minutes. If I add 39 minutes to 18 minutes, I get 57. So the Moon-Jupiter opposition has a 39-minute orb. The Moon, Sun square Moon has only a 11-minute orb. So the Sun-Moon is much stronger. Very, very strong. So, but all of these are solid, and they're there. Okay. I think you've got the idea. I don't think I have to go through all of these other people. We've also got John Legend, the singer, Richard Madden, actor, Ricky Martin, singer, Ewan McGregor, the actor, Winona Ryder, the actress, and Justin Timberlake, the singer. Excuse me, the singer. Wow, it looks like he's got several probably very strong aspects. You can see how thick those lines are. But I won't go into that. I think you have the idea. Okay, so I'm reviewing, I'm going into detail, making sure you have this. Next 4 videos are on the planetary pairs. Again, I recommend pull up your own chart, some friends, family. You may not have any aspects under 1 degree orb. You may have 3 or 4. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really mean anything. There's so much more we're going to learn about. So maybe your chart is going to allow you to look at several aspects, or maybe none. So you'll want to look at several charts so you've got some examples to look at, not necessarily of every planetary pair, but at least some, so you can start to relate to the ideas and make sense of it. Okay, my friends, we are now ready to look at planetary pairs. Again, I recommend pulling up some charts and looking at it. If you have software that doesn't show the thickness of the lines like this, you just have to look a little more carefully to see if things are in the same degree. In the Kepler and Sirius software, what I have here is if I right click and I go to customize and I go to aspects, I'm using this harmonic medium major only. It has the aspect lines with varying thickness, and you can customize any aspect set to do that. We'll learn all about that under this customize this aspect set. But I just want to mention that in case you don't see the thick lines. And if you're not able to get the thick lines with whatever software you currently have, then you just have to look carefully at each planet to see. Okay, my friends. Thank you very much for listening. God bless. Namaste.